Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. Today I'm going to tell you the story of a movie where a night party ends in tragedy, and after that, the house turns into a bloodbath. If you enjoy it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Richard takes his new girlfriend Jennifer on a weekend hunting trip to a remote desert villa, arriving by helicopter. Richard heads to the bedroom where Jennifer is already waiting. That night, they share an unforgettable evening. The next morning, Jennifer walks into the kitchen. As soon as she turns around, she sees two heavily armed men through the window. They're frozen in awe at the sight of Jennifer until Richard shows up and immediately recognizes them. He asks why they arrived 2 days early, and they tell him they wrapped up their previous plans sooner than expected. Richard introduces Jennifer to his friends, Stan and Dimitri, who are so captivated by her that they can't take their eyes off her. That night, the four of them throw a small party. After some fun and games, Richard pulls out the hallucinogenic herb the pilot gave him as a gift. He warns them not to consume it while they still have guns around. It's dangerous. He says the last person who took it cut off their own leg with a saw and didn't feel a thing. Richard hands it to Jennifer to hide it somewhere safe. She walks back inside and hides it in a necklace with a small hidden compartment. Then, Jennifer decides to dance a little for them. As she starts dancing, the three men are completely mesmerized by her body. She invites Richard to dance with her, but when he says he's not really in the mood, she turns to Stan instead. Stan is overjoyed, and the two of them start dancing until Richard stands up, picks Jennifer up, and carries her back into the house. The next morning, Jennifer wakes up to find Stan telling her that Richard left for some paperwork and won't be back until noon. Dimitri is still sleeping off the hangover, so it's just the two of them. Stan has prepared a full breakfast for Jennifer, but she doesn't touch it and decides to pack her stuff instead. Stan thought he had impressed her the night before, but now feels like a total failure. While Jennifer is changing clothes in her room, Stan sneaks in and watches. Jennifer notices and quickly covers herself. Stan sits beside her and asks why she doesn't like him. He thought everything was going well last night, but now it seems like she's completely lost interest. Jennifer feels confused and unsafe. She tries to brush him off with a few quick answers, but Stan, realizing he's being rejected, gets angry. As Jennifer tries to flee, he blocks her way and tries to force himself on her. At that moment, Dimitri walks into the room. Jennifer hopes he'll step in, but instead, he silently closes the door and walks away. Hours later, when Richard returns, he sees Jennifer's condition and figures out what happened. He promises her that Stan will be punished for what he did. But Jennifer, furious and shaken, just wants him to call the helicopter pilot so she can leave immediately. Instead of calling, Richard slaps her hard across the face. He threatens her, saying she better forget what happened and not cause trouble. Realizing the kind of monster she's dealing with, Jennifer runs away from the house. Stan and Dimitri spot her through the window and start chasing after her. Jennifer runs with all her strength, trying to escape all three of them, but eventually reaches a cliff edge and there's nowhere left to run. They surround her. Richard tries to calm her down, telling her not to do anything stupid. He says he'll make the call. He takes Stan's phone and calls the pilot, asking him to come pick them up in half an hour. Jennifer relaxes slightly. Richard slowly steps forward as if to guide her away from the edge, but instead, he shoves her. Jennifer falls and is impaled on a tree branch sticking out from the cliffside. Stan is in shock over what Richard just did. Richard tells them this was the only way to avoid trouble, and they need to get rid of the body before heading out on their hunt. Back at the house, they start gathering their things, while Richard burns all of Jennifer's belongings. Suddenly, she's still bleeding. The tree branch has pierced through her and is holding her in place. Reaching out with great pain, she tries to grab her lighter. She knows she'll die if she stays like this, so she endures the agony and manages to grab it. She sets the tree on fire, hoping the flames will weaken the branch. Once it burns enough, the branch snaps and Jennifer falls to the ground. But it's not over. She hears vehicles approaching. Still impaled by the branch, she musters her strength and drags herself toward a rock wall. The three men arrive at the cliff and are shocked to see the body is gone. Stan suggests that instead of trying to kill her again, they should just find her, take her to a hospital, and somehow keep her quiet. But Richard loses it, yelling that all of this is Stan's fault and that now they have to kill her. They drive down the cliffside following the blood trail. It leads them to a lake, but then disappears. They decide to split up. Stan stays with the car while Richard and Dimitri go on their motorbikes to search. Jennifer is moving through the water to mask her trail. She hears a motor approaching and hides underwater. As soon as Dimitri passes by, she surfaces and sees him off his bike, with his gun a short distance away. She seizes the opportunity, runs toward him, grabs the gun, and points it at him. Dimitri panics and tries to calm her down. Jennifer pulls the trigger. Dimitri lunges, grabs the gun, and throws her to the ground. He had set a trap. He gave her an unloaded weapon. He radios that he found Jennifer and will be back soon. Then, he drags her into the water and pushes her head under, trying to drown her. After a few seconds, he pulls her up. She sees his knife, but before she can grab it, he shoves her head under again. Jennifer holds her breath. When she resurfaces, she snatches the knife and stabs him in the eye. Dimitri screams and thrashes in pain, then dies in the water moments later. Jennifer pulls the knife from his eye as his body sinks into the lake. Jennifer grabs the motorbike and manages to find shelter for the night. She empties out Dimitri's bag, but finds nothing useful to treat her wound. She tries to pull the branch out of her stomach with her hand, but the pain is too intense. Glancing at her necklace, she remembers the drug she'd hidden inside. She removes it from the plastic wrap and swallows it, hoping it might dull the pain. A few minutes later, the hallucinations begin. She hears a full orchestra playing deafening music, followed by even stranger, more surreal sounds. Terrified, she slowly realizes the pain has vanished. She grabs a soda can, peels off the metal wrapping, heats her knife with the lighter, and cuts away a bit of her own skin to access the wound. She doesn't feel a thing. With the pain numbed, she successfully removes the branch. She then heats the soda can's metal strip in the fire and presses it against her stomach to cauterize the wound. The next morning, while Stan is by the river, Dimitri's corpse suddenly floats up in front of him. Richard shows up, sees the body, and Stan, panicking, completely loses it. Richard drags the corpse out to inspect it, but there's nothing useful on it. Stan climbs out of the car and helps Richard throw the body back into the river. When Stan mutters, "This is all your fault," Richard punches him straight in the nose, breaking it. Meanwhile, Jennifer wakes up from a deep sleep, only to find an eagle drawn across her stomach. She doesn't remember doing it. Her hallucinations start up again. She sees distorted images of Richard and Stan, along with flashbacks from her escape, until finally, the drug wears off. Jennifer grabs all the weapons and ammo from Dimitri's stuff and exits the cave. She now has one goal: to kill those who did this to her. Richard and Stan make a plan to split up and search the area for Jennifer. They agree to meet back at the same spot in a few hours. Stan, frightened by Dimitri's death, says they should stick together, but Richard ignores him and heads off alone. Using a combat scope, Jennifer locates Stan. He's on a remote mountain road when his car runs out of gas. He gets out to refill it, unaware that Jennifer is silently approaching. She prepares her rifle and takes aim. While Stan is completely focused on the task, Jennifer fires, hitting him in the shoulder. The recoil knocks her back too. When she gets up again, Stan is gone. She follows his blood trail and eventually finds him near the car. He's bleeding heavily and trying to escape. Jennifer chases after him, but the blood trail vanishes. Suddenly, Stan appears behind her and fires, grazing her ear. A sharp ringing fills Jennifer's head, but she starts to run. She smashes her flashlight against a rock, shattering the glass. When Stan chases her, he steps on the shards and starts bleeding badly. Limping, he returns to the car and begins chasing her in the vehicle. Hearing the engine, Jennifer prepares her rifle and fires, but misses. Stan floors it, aiming to run her over, but at the last second, Jennifer shoots him in the head, killing him instantly. She gets in the car and drives off. Back at the rendezvous point, Richard tries contacting Stan via radio, but gets no response. After waiting for hours with no sign of him, Richard realizes Stan is dead too. He hops on his motorcycle and heads back to the villa. Once there, dehydrated, he dunks his head in the pool to drink. Feeling slightly better, he calls the helicopter pilot, who says he'll be there in half an hour. While Richard is in the shower, he suddenly hears a noise outside. He grabs his gun and nervously begins checking the house. He clears the living room, then the bedrooms. Finding nothing, he heads toward the pool and sees something floating in the water. Convinced no one's there, he breathes a sigh of relief when suddenly the TV turns on. Panicking, he grabs his gun again. As he picks up the remote, he freezes, stunned. Jennifer shoots him, and Richard is badly wounded. He reaches for his gun, but Jennifer gives him no time to react. He crawls down the hallway as Jennifer enters the house, following the trail of blood. Richard hides behind a wall, waiting to ambush her. As Jennifer steps forward, she notices the blood on the floor and realizes it's a trap. She quietly backs away, circles around, and sneaks up behind him. Richard, confused by her disappearance, moves forward to look for her. Meanwhile, Jennifer returns to his original hiding spot, only to find he's gone. Richard has wrapped plastic around himself to stop the bleeding. They finally come face to face and unleash a flurry of bullets at each other until Richard runs out of ammo. They start stalking each other in a chaotic loop, circling faster and faster until Jennifer slips on blood and falls. Richard catches up, slams her in the head with the gun, and lifts her up, strangling her so hard she starts to lose consciousness. Jennifer manages to drive her hand into Richard's wound, making him howl in pain and let go. She lunges for the gun, and when Richard tries to stop her, one final shot. It's over. Richard is dead. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, you know what to do.